another episode of the program Improve Seeds on your first agricultural television, Nigeria. I am Hilda Hamsen Fantuan. Of course, this program is a program that explores farmers to enlighten them on how to cultivate various types of farm crops. The effects of some of pests and diseases and the addition value on every crop. This is ARCN TV in the capital city of Abuja. I am Hilda Homsem Fantua. On this program and this episode, I have someone from Plateau State, an extension officer, someone who is good with potato, someone that knows the right steps to take in potato cultivation. He is Mr. Sati. Mr. Sati Bordi. We'll be right back where I will introduce him properly to you, and then all the questions that you have about Irish potato will be answered. Don't go anywhere. This is still Improved Seeds on ARCN Television. Welcome back. Mr. Sati, who is an extension officer with Agri Department, Plateau State. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much, Hilda. I am Mr. Sati Daliobdegay, the Director, Technical Service Department, Plateau Agricultural Development Program, Dogonduse Jos. I'm very, very happy to be on this program to enlighten our farmers on the plateau and other part of the country that are cultivating potato. Potato on the plateau has become a very lucrative business for both men and women in the cultivation of the crop. Because of the weather of the state, we have the comparative advantage in cultivating potato more than any other state in the country. And Plateau State, we have 9 local governments in Plateau State that are producing potato for the country.
Okay.
And potato have become our own goal, or as the East is having their own petrol, and we are boasting of potato on the plateau. We are very happy that we are able to feed the nation on potato production on the plateau. As she did mention on the steps in which to take for potato cultivation, first of all, the 9 areas, because of the weather, the conducive weather that we have on the plateau, those local government, even just East, those are the local government that are producing potato in mass quantity, involving both the male and the female. It is a gender balance issue. It's not like other places that you see women are not involved in potato production. The steps are, you first of all look for the land, a very good land, clear land, sawmill loamy sand soil for the cultivation of potato. We are even very, very happy that we have a zonal research institute on the plateau, that is the Root Crop Research Institute, which is situated in Kuru, near Vom, where we get improved seeds that are disease-free from the institute. That is where most of the people go there to purchase their seed for cultivation. And at the same time, after obtaining your seed, you now go for cultivation, whether you are doing it manually or you are going to do it, you use tractor to be able to farm your potato. We have the research institute there that take care of the seeds. The most important thing in the production of potato is the seed, which I have said we don't have a problem with it, but fertilizer, which is very cost beyond the reach of the farmer, but we still manage to use our poultry dropping to substitute where fertilizer has become very expensive. The 3 most important things that you need in the cultivation of potato on the plateau: the seed, the land, the fertilizer. If you have those, you are good to go for the production of potato on the plateau.
Wow. All right, so we have problems of blight.
Yes.
This is a yearly problem that farmers faced.
Yes.
As an extension officer, what efforts have we been able to put in place to cope this out?
Yes, as an extensionist and as a farmer at the same time, blight has come to stay with us because of the global warming that the world is experiencing everywhere. And the only remedy for that when you are about to cultivate a potato, you must be thinking of having your fungicide. That is the remedy, because we have varieties of potato that are a little bit tolerant to blight, but the quantity that the National Root Crop Research Institute have might not be able to cover the entire farming family of farmers on the plateau. So we advise farmers to be using fungicide like Glory, like the Cabrio, which is a fungicide, to be able to cope up the menace of blight on the plateau. If you are having fungicide handy, you are already good to go on the cultivation of potato, and you have a bumper harvest.
Now, in a situation whereby people do not have money to get those herbicides, is there no organic method at which farmers can go into, or is there no like climate condition calculation or farming calendar that maybe when you do it reduce the level of blight?
Yes.
Must we use chemicals to eradicate the blight?
Yes, the issue with the blight is that for you to eradicate blight, I don't think there is any remedy to eradicate it, but it has come to stay, as I said. But the only option is that you do your early farming. Once you cultivate very early, you are bound to make sure that you have a harvest. Because when you look at cultivation, blight normally come at the middle, towards the end of June, July. So if you are late in cultivating your potato, definitely you are not going to avoid the issue of outbreak of blight. So early farming is what we advocate to farmers, so that you can have bumper harvest. But after that, there are so many organic, maybe fungicide that is around for farmers to be using. But is that available for the teeming population of Plateau State? So we only advocate that you go on early farming. You should not be late in trying to cultivate your potato, because by the time you are late, you are bound to have blight around July and August, which is not good for your farming.
All right. Um, then in the cultivation of potato,
Yes.
are there right ridges, distance, or kind of heaps that farmers need to also put in consideration?
Yes, there are so many farming techniques that you use for the cultivation of potato. The standard farming for ridges, spacing, and the rest is 75 in between ridges, and then you are planting at 30 cm, and then you plant one seed. That is in between. You have 75 cm. That is inter row, and then on the top of the row you have 30 cm. That is one ruler. Then you plant your one seed to be able to have a maximum plant population that you will have on the farm. So this is basically the method and the technology that we are passing around as an ADP and as an extensionist to farmer on the plateau on the cultivation of potato.
All right. So, how do you identify a good seed? Is there anything that I must see when I see? I'll know that this is a good seed.
Yes, you can identify a good seed, because a good seed almost have about 2 to 3 sprouted, well sprouted eye that you will be able to notice. And within the eyes, if the seeds are bad, you will notice it by there is a whitish kind of a thing on the eye of the seed. You know that seed is very, very bad. Or by the time you use your hand to press it, if it is rotten, you see it will be watery, and then at the same time you know that seed is bad. But a good seed must be a local egg shape, a local chicken egg shape, and it must have 3 to 4 eye. Then it gives you a good sprouting, and then the more you have the coverage of the sprouting, the more yield that you have, because photosynthetic material take place when the leaves, and then the leaves now transmit to the tubers, and then you have bumper harvest. So we advise that your potato eye must be having 3 eye and above,
Okay.
so that for bumper harvest.
All right. A lot of urban farmers now
Yes.
have gotten involved with the use of sand farming.
Yes.
So is that applicable in potato too? And if it is, how how productive it is? Do they harvest good? Do they have good bumper harvest? And is it advisable?
Yes, in a situation whereby you are interested in farming potatoes and you don't have land, you have no option than to go on farming in sacks. I've seen potato being farmed on tires. These tires that are wasted, they will now cut it the base at the top and then plant their potato. The reason with potato is that if it is exposed to sunshine, you are good to go. You don't plant in sacks and then keep it under the shade. No, there is no crop that you plant and keep it under the shade and you expect the tuber to form well. But once it is exposed under the sunlight, then it's the same thing as you plant in the open field. So that is the tradition of those people that don't have land. If you go to Jos and other environs, people are growing their potato on bags in wasted tires and other, even pots. Ordinarily, this pot you can, once it is open, you plant your seed there, it grows well and you harvest your potato.
Oh,
Yes.
all right, this is interesting. This to improve seeds on your first agricultural television in Nigeria. We'll be right back again. I will come back where Mr. Sati here is going to tell us the solutions to some of the problems that farmers are complaining, most especially when they are about to harvest their potatoes and the rain has not all gone. And then how do they store potato for a long period of time? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Mr. Sati, who is an extension officer with Agri Department, Plateau State. Welcome to the program, sir. Thank you very much for being with us. If you're just joining us, this is Improved Seeds on your first agricultural television in Nigeria, in the capital city of Abuja. And I'm talking here with Mr. Sati, an extension officer from Plateau State, who is exploring us on the cultivation of Irish and the effects of some of the crops or blights that affects most of our farmers today. He has actually enlightened us that early farming is the best way of remedying some of this. So, sir, now after the planting, taking good care of it, what about the earthing? Is it necessary, and how soon do we do the earthing? And then the fertilizer application. What are the good ways, or what are the best fertilizers used? And on a hectare, what quantity of fertilizer is needed? And is there organic method of application of fertilizer on Irish potato?
A potato on the plateau is it has gone advanced because we use good agricultural practice. That is GAP, and that is what we'll advocate to our farmers. As you have rightly said, there are ways when you plant your potato during the rainy season, there are tendency that there will be depression and wash away soil from the root zone of the crop. So the issue of earthening up is very, very important, because once your potato is exposed, it now becomes green and it becomes very toxic for you to eat, both animal and human. So we advocate that you do earthening up at the time the potato are forming tubers inside, so that you don't expose it. So earthening up or remolding of your ridges is very, very important. It protects the tubers from disease attack, and it also increase the tuberization and then the size of the tubers in the field.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So on a hectare, the fertilizer.
Yes, on a hectare you are good to go with about 8 bags to 9 bags of fertilizer, depending on the soil, because on the plateau, because of mining activities and overgrazing and all the rest, the land have deteriorated to the extent that if you don't have fertilizer, you even think of not having any crop on the field, being it maize, being it whatever kind of crops. So we should have about 8 bags to 9 bags of NPK. That is, it takes care of 1 hectare. And you apply, some people apply by broadcasting before planting. You now broadcast and make your ridges and then you plant. Some are plant once, it depends, but some plant and after 2 weeks they now go and do site placement. But you must be very carefully in doing the site placement, because you must make sure the distance between your fertilizer and the crop should be about 5 cm apart, because you know you are dealing with chemical fertilizer and it is very very toxic to plant and it's very hot. At the time the crop is coming up, you will find out that it's still tender, it cannot withstand the hotness of the fertilizer. So you plant it a distance away from it so that it does not destroy your newly sprouted potato in the field.
Okay. Wow. So that is interesting. How do you now get to know that your potato has started producing?
Yes.
Is it from the leaf, flower? Why don't you know?
Yes, there are some potato plants that, for you to understand, it has started tuberization. They form flowers at the tip of the potato. Then, but there are some that doesn't have flower at the tip. So there are many varieties. But how you will be able to know that your potato is ripe for harvesting is that the color of the leaves now turn to straw color, from yellowish to straw color, and then you should know that your potato is due for harvest, because potato almost lasts 90 days in the field. So at around the second month, you should know that tuberization has already formed. You are just waiting for maturity for you to harvest. If you have a cropping calendar, don't have to be battling with it. But if you are a novice, these are the signs that you witness. The leaf become yellow brownish, and then you know that your potato is ready for harvest after 90 days.
Wow. Methods of harvesting, and how do you store it for a long period of time?
In harvesting, because we have not advanced to like developed nation, we use our crude instrument, that is the small hoe, for the harvesting. In a situation whereby you have a very soft soil, you just go there and pull, and then use even your bare hand, and then you look for those that were not able to be pulled by this. But in a hard soil, you use your small hoe to pull it out. And you must be very very careful in harvesting, because by the time you now use your hoe wrongly, you will now begin to chop some of the potato that are in the field, and you know that once you chop it, the value of the potato in the market is reduced. That will be for home consumption. But we don't advocate that you should be careful because farming is a business now. It's no more like any other thing, like when our forefather used to say it's just for home consumption. It's no more like that. It's a business. So if you take your money to invest in a business, you want output and profit. So you have to be very careful in all the agronomical practice to make sure that you are able to get a successful. In the aspect of storage, at the same time, we have not advanced to the level of having cold stores. In developed nation, you have cold stores that your potato can last for 6 months. But we use the diffuse light store that was being taught to our farmers by the National Root Crop Research Institute. It is a thatch roof that is so open, well ventilated, and then you spray your potato there. You don't heat potato, but you spray them on the floor or on the shelf. It depends on the construction of the DLS, that is the diffuse light store. Then you keep your potato there. Both the ware, that is the one you carry to the market, we call them wet potatoes, and the one that for seed, all are meant to be kept in the diffuse light store. But in a situation whereby the market price is good at that time, at farm gate you can carry your potato to the market and then it's easy. But for those that will be kept for seed, you have to go and keep them in a very well ventilated environment. For 3 months they will be sprouted and now telling you ready for the next planting season.
So you mean so from the harvested potatoes,
Yes.
we can store, we can have seedlings for next.
Yes, you can have seed for next year.
Okay, so
But
how do you preserve it so
Yeah.
that it will not get rotten?
Yes, the
And-
preservation is what we have said. You use your local thatch houses, well ventilated with a lot of windows, and you must have to put wire mesh in the DLS Why do you put that? Because rodent can come and be playing with your seed and you are losing. So once you make sure that your windows have air mesh, and then you close your door very well for any disease that will come in and destroy your seed. So that's how you store your seed for the next cropping season. But I want to advocate here, if you are into business per se, what you need to do is that at the end of your cropping season, because you may not have enough, it depends on the variety. There are some variety that when you harvest them, you have a little quantity for the planting season. So we would advocate and always tell our farmers to go to National Root Crop Research Institute, or to go to Fruit and Veggies, which is a company that is in Jos, situated along Zawan Junction when you are going to Jos. They are also into the importation of seeds for farmers, improved seed for farmers to plant on their field, although it is a little bit exorbitant. But for the person that wants to go into business, seed is not the problem. All you need is the output that will come from the farm. If you are going to definitely using improved seed, you are going to have your output well if you use good agronomical practice in the field.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
So now, we just got to know that, discovered that last year,
Yes.
last season rather,
Yes.
a lot farmers lost a lot of
Yes.
their crops.
Yes.
So how is the market value now? How is it? And is there any remedy? I don't know what. As an extension officer with government, have they thought of anything that will do that will help the market value for potato? It's one of the most expensive food, in the market. And then, is there, how do you control middleman involvement? Do you have that problem, or do you have an association that curtails that?
Thank you very much for that question. On the plateau, the issue of loss to farmer last year was immense. Farmer really lost very well, and in some places, farmer go and take loan, and the whole farm. That is when you don't take care of your farm during blight, the whole farm is wiped over just 2 to 3 days. Yes, when you just notice black patches on the leaves, and you did not take proper step to curtail it, just give it 2, 3, 4 days, the whole farm is affected, and it will affect tuberization. So definitely you must have to go with fungicide once you are into potato and you plant late. When there is no fungicide, forget about the farm that you are going to harvest, because you know that we have something like the fox, the dew, and that is the blight that always ravage our potato on the plateau. And on the aspect of middlemen, we have tried, we are a government agent, we have tried to make sure that farmers form cooperative to be able to eliminate middlemen, because the middlemen are the one getting more money than the farmers.
Sure.
Somebody is staying under the shade and you are suffering under the sun, investing your money there, and when you bring your potato to the market, the middlemen are the one to determine the price for you. They will tell you go and stay under the shade, and they will tell you potato today is about 10,000 while it is 15,000. You see, in each bag you are losing, as the farmer, you are losing 5,000, and he the middleman is gaining 5,000 out of you. So if we can curtail middleman through cooperative and linkage to market outside Plateau State, or big hotels that needs our potato, you go direct, and then you are able to supply to in wholesale to all these places, and then you yourself, you will curtail middlemen, and your money will come in bulk. You only talk of transportation to the destination of your potato, but middlemen are no more involved. And thank God now our farmers are getting wiser by the day, because I was in Boko some times ago. There are people that come from Onitsha, Lagos and the rest. They go direct with their buses to the field. So middlemen are curtailed to some extent, but we still want the curtail to be 100%, so that farmers will benefit their own sweat on the farm. Yes.
All right. So, sir,
Yes.
The cultivation of potato is an interesting step.
Yes.
Do we get everybody involved? That is the gender aspect now.
yeah.
Our women, are they involved, or are they forbidden? We got to understand that
Yes.
some cultures do not allow women to go into farming.
No,
So how is it with the cultivation of
on the plateau,
potato?
it cut across every region. We are gender sensitive in Plateau State. If you are traveling from any part of the country, once you are approaching Plateau, you see even women more on the land than the men. That's what some people have been telling us. But the men are also there. Sometimes because the women does not have enough. Some of them are not employed by government. They don't work in companies. They are not artisans that they go for work. That's why you don't see the men much on the field than the men, than the women. So it is a gender kind of a thing in Plateau State. Nobody is exempted. Both it cut across religion. You go to Bokos, you see a Muslim woman in the farm, you see a Christian woman in the farm. So even it involves selling and buying. Even in the Bokos market, Mango market, everybody is involved. We are gender balanced in Plateau State when it comes to farming of any crop, not potato alone. So that's how we are on the plateau.
So what advice do you have for our farmers, for our viewers that are watching the program?
The advice I will advise our viewers that are listening to us that potato cultivation is interesting. We are growing by population, and plateau alone cannot be able because potato is farmed in Cross River, Obutu, Mambila Plateau, Zaria. Those are supplementary to Plateau State. It's not enough to be able to feed the teeming population of Plateau State. I will expect investors to come to Plateau State. The land is there. I want to disabuse the mind of people saying that Plateau State is a no-go area. I'm telling you, go to Plateau State, you feel at home. It's a home for peace and tourism. So the issue of people hearing news here that Plateau crisis here, I don't think there is any state in Nigeria that there's no crisis. But people still go. So I want investors to come to Plateau State. We have the land, we have the expertise, we have all it takes to give you to invest, and you help us in trying to feed the nation, and you get your profit out of it. Plateau welcome everybody from every part of the world. Our weather alone is attractive for everybody. Come to Plateau, you don't sleep in AC. AC is when you are selling AC in Plateau State, you are not wasting your time. Our land is also AC to us. Our weather is AC already. So I mean, I'm now saying to investors, come to Plateau, invest your money in potato. You will never regret being to Plateau State.
You heard it from him. Go to Plateau, invest your money, and you will never regret it. That's how we wrap it on the program today. It has been an interesting episode with Mr. Sati Dalio. Dagay?
Sati Dalio Dagay.
It has been an interesting episode, and that's how we wrapped it here with Mr. Sati Dagay Daliop, who is an extension officer and, of course, a farmer, and he has told us everything about potato, Irish potato. I know you want to learn more. Just keep on watching our program on First Agricultural Television in Nigeria, of course. I am Hilda Homsam Flantuam saying, take good care of yourself. Go into farming. That is the next gold mine that Nigeria is going to invest on. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
I hope when we call upon you again, you will be here too.
I am available.
All right. Thank you so much from everybody's. Thank you.